stand up all together? Assigned leader, kindly read the gospel for today and lead the prayer afterwards. Good morning, class! Before you take your seat, kindly pick up the pieces of papers and plastics scattered on the floor and throw them on the trash can. After that, arrange your chairs properly. You may now take your seat. Make sure you are on your proper seats because I am going to check the attendance for today. No one is absent. Very good, class. So like what we have discussed before, part of a speech is divided into 8 types or parts according to their functions in the language. And what are those 8 parts again? Yes, Ms. Melendez? Very good. So from our previous meeting, we have already discussed the other part of a speech, and those are the noun, pronoun, and verb. And we have just finished discussing the verb yesterday. Am I correct? So, anyone who can tell me what the verb is? Okay, Mr. Antonio. Very well said. It seems like you really understand our topic in the previous meeting. And now, are you ready and excited for our new lesson? But before that, we will be having an activity regarding our topic, which is the adjective. Is that fine with you? If that is the case, then we'll proceed to our activity. So this activity is entitled Stop the Box, in which it will help you to have an idea about the topic that we are going to discuss. The time allotted for this activity will be 10 minutes. So for the mechanics of this activity, there will be a box, and inside of this box are the names of the students. With music playing, the box will be passed in all students. Then when the music stops, the person who is holding the box will pick out one name. Without telling the name written on the piece of paper, he or she will describe the person, while other students will start to guess who he or she is referring to. This game will not continue until they will guess who he is being described. So have you enjoyed playing the game, class? Yes, it is an interactive game and seems like every one of you are having fun with this. So what have you observed on the activities we have a while ago? Anyone? Okay, Ms. Silang? Very good answer. The activity we have mainly focus on describing someone, and this has something to do with our discussion. Before we begin, I will present to you the lesson objective for today's lesson. Let me read it to you. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to, first, demonstrate knowledge and key concepts of adjectives and apply it in various written and communicative tasks. Second, construct and write an essay about the best place that they had visited, and they must use the appropriate and correct adjectives. And lastly, appreciate the importance of using adjectives in describing and sharing personal experiences, ideas, and thoughts.
Now, we are going to tackle one of the part of speech, which is the adjective. So what do you mean by an adjective? Anyone who has any idea? Yes, Miss Cuenca. Very well said. So when we say an adjective, these are the words that describes or modifies a noun, and it is used to add something to the meaning of a noun. For example, nice, beautiful, brown, and big. So based on the given example on the PowerPoint presentation, who can use the first adjective word in the sentence? Yes, Miss Calao. Thank you. Now, who can use the second example in the sentence? Yes, Miss Garcia. Very good. So next example, anyone who can use it in a sentence? Okay, Miss Calao. Nice. So for the last adjective, Who can use it in a sentence? Anyone? Yes, Miss Cuenca. All right. All of your sentences are correct, and those words are some examples of an adjective because we can use it to modify a noun or a pronoun. And to easily identify the adjective in the sentences, it should be answers the following questions. So the first one is that what kind, how much, how many, and which. So the following questions on the screen will help you to truly identify the adjectives being used in the sentence. Is that clear? Alright, so an adjective has its kind. Who can guess the kinds of adjective? Anyone in the class? Yes, Miss Cuenca? Very good! An adjective may be divided into following kinds. First one is the qualitative adjectives. Second one is adjectives of quantity, adjectives of number, demonstrative adjectives, and interrogative adjectives. So I will discuss one by one for you to better understand it. The first kind of adjective is the qualitative adjectives, which describe an object by telling us what quality, of what sort, or in what state the object is. So, for example, Roman is a good boy. Another example, he has a black dog. So for this kind of adjective, it basically describes and shows the kind and quality of a person or a thing. Just like on the given example, Raman is a good boy. It describes what kind of boy does Raman is. Descriptive adjectives are used to describe color, shape, size, the quality of a person or thing, and etc. It simply says something about the quality or the kind of the noun or pronoun they are referring to. So this adjective describes nouns that refer to action, for example, hard work or ill behavior, a state that comes after linking verbs, for instance, was excited, feel tired, or quality. Is descriptive adjective clear to you, class? Okay, so now we will proceed to other kinds of adjective. So the next one is the adjectives of quantity that shows how much of a thing is meant. Let's say, for example, I did not eat any bread. So another example, there is a little sugar in the pot. So anyone who can explain what is adjectives of quantity is? Yes, Mr. Maranan. Very well said. So, adjectives of quantity shows how much or the quantity of a thing is meant. Just like on the given example, there is a little sugar in the pot. So an adjective here is little because it answers the question, how much? Is that clear, class? Okay, so let us remember that adjectives of quantity answers the question, how much or how many. Is that clear? Okay, let's now proceed on the next kind of adjective, which is the adjectives of number. So this adjective is used to depict either the number of nouns or either position or place in a certain order. For example, there are 10 students in the classroom. So an adjective here is the word 10 because it shows the exact number of nouns in the sentence. Do you understand, class? Okay, so who can give me a sentence using the adjectives of number? Yes, Miss Capio. Very well said. Anyone who can give me another example? Okay, Mr. Garcia. Very good. It seems that you really understand what an adjectives of number is. So now, class, let's move on to the next kind of adjective, which is the demonstrative adjectives. So who has an idea about it? Anyone? Yes, Miss Canubas. Correct. When we say demonstrative adjective, it points out which person or thing is meant. This adjective is used as a way to indicate which person or object you are referring to and to demonstrate or to explain particular things, people, animals, ideas, and etc. For example, this man is very handsome. Another example, those flowers are very beautiful. So class, based on the given example, the word this and the word those are the example of demonstrative adjective. Do you understand, class? Very good. Once again, class, demonstrative adjective describes which noun or pronoun they are referring to. It always comes before the word they are referring to. Is that clear, class? Let us now proceed to the last kind of adjective, which is the interrogative adjective. Anyone who can read what on the screen? Yes, Miss Moreno. Thank you, Miss Moreno. So, class, interrogative adjectives are the adjectives that are used to ask questions. So, some of the interrogative adjectives are what, which, and whose. So, let us have an example. For example, number 1. What food is your favorite? Another example. Which button turns on the light? So class, the interrogative adjective used in the sentence are what and which. Is that clear, class? Okay. Now that we are done on the kinds of adjective, let us now move on to the location of adjectives. Who can read the first one? Yes, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you. So, the most common location is directly in front of the noun it is modifying. So, from the given example, the big dog. Another example, the beautiful girl. So we can notice that the adjectives which are big and beautiful is in front of the noun it is modifying. Is that clear, class? Okay, let us now proceed to our next slide. Anyone who can read our second location of adjectives? Yes, Miss Moreno. Thank you. So another location of adjective is after a linking verb or verb of condition. These are called predicate adjectives. Let us have an example. So for example, number 1, the game was interesting. So the linking verb here is was followed by the predicate adjective, which is interesting. Is that clear, class? Okay, thank you. So now, let us move on to the last location of adjectives. So it primarily occurs after a noun when it is set off by commas. So let's have an example. So for example number 1, the book, well written and suspenseful, kept my interest. So the adjectives here is well written and suspenseful. So we can observe that it is located after a noun that is set by commas. Is that clear, class? Okay, do you understand? Very good. Okay, now that we are done to our topic, do you have any questions? Any clarifications regarding to our topic today? Very good. So that's great. It seems that you really understand our discussion. Since you don't have any questions, now I have some questions for you. Okay, class, once again, what is an adjective? Yes, Miss Herner. Correct. So, an adjective is a word naming an attribute added to or grammatically related to a noun or a pronoun to modify or describe it. Now, class, who can enumerate and define the different kinds of adjective? Yes, Miss Jacob. Very well said. So, there are 5 kinds of adjective. The first one is the qualitative adjectives that describe the qualities of a person or a thing. The next one is the adjectives of quantity that shows how much of a thing is meant. Then, the adjectives of number that tells exactly how many or how much of something there is. Another one is the demonstrative adjectives that use to specifically describe the position of something or someone in space or time. And lastly is the interrogative adjectives that use to ask questions. So for my next question, who can enumerate the location of adjectives? Yes, Miss Liesa. Precisely. So now, what is the importance of knowing the kinds of adjectives as well as its location? Yes, Miss Canubas. Very well said. So class, to conclude, adjectives are vital components of sentences. Utilizing adjectives implies that we can express the nature of any individual or item. Without descriptive words, we couldn't say how any article resembles. Additionally, it gives the reader more specific information that will guide and help us to understand their function. With that, we can use these words effectively in our essays and papers. Whenever we use adjectives, they make our writing more visual and vivid. Do you understand, class? Very good. Is that clear?
So at this juncture, I think everyone is already prepared for our activity. Am I right? That's great. So now, we will be going to apply your learning about an adjective through an activity. So this time, you will going to write a 4-stanza poem about your Christmas vacation. So just like on what I said a while ago, in creating a poem, everyone should apply the correct and appropriate adjective in writing and sharing your experiences about the given topic. You will also be guided using the following rubrics presented on the screen. After that, when everyone is done, I will call 3 students to share their poem in front of the class. You will have 20 minutes to do this activity. So, are the instructions of the activity being clear to you, class? If that's the case, you may start doing this. Time's up. Are you done? So, who wants to share his or her poem in front of the class? Any volunteer? Okay, Miss De La Cruz. Thank you. Another one. Yes, Miss Hardin. Very nice composition. So, the last one. Who wants to share his poem? Okay, Mr. Kusi. Thank you, class, for your cooperation. All of your compositions are very nice and creative. So now, please pass all your works forward. I will probably return your activity next meeting when I'm done checking it. So after applying your learnings, we will now use our remaining time to write a reflective journal in a 1 whole sheet of paper. This is just a reflection on what you have learned from our today's discussion. In writing your reflective journal, you will be guided with the following questions. First, what did you learn? Second, why we need to study and to know adjectives. And the last one is, what are the importance of using adjectives in describing and sharing our personal experiences, opinions, and thoughts. You will also be guided using the rubrics presented on the screen. So, do you have any clarifications? If none, you may start doing your reflection. Are you done? So please pass all your works forward. Okay, class, for your assignment, you will also apply your learnings about the topic that we've discussed today. So in creating and writing your travelogue, you will be guided with the following instructions. So first, you will be going to create a travelogue using various arts materials. The second one is, the travelogue is about the best place that you have visited, and you will apply the correct adjectives in sharing your personal experiences and in describing the scene, places, foods, and various activities. Third, the travelogue must be creative and imaginative. And the last one, your work will be guided based on the rubrics presented on the screen. So these rubrics will serve as your guide in creating a very nice output. So, do you have any clarifications? If that's the case, then goodbye, class. See you on our next meeting.